Okay, portfolio criteria one, switch consecutive number of losses before we start trading. Now, the money management configuration gets really interested and more complex. So bear with me on this, but it does have great value when implemented correctly. First, we're going to start with our basic strategies in the portfolio, which we have here just randomly put in three. If we go to the signal and we format each strategy, I put a little money management in there. I set true to consecutive losses. So in other words, before it actually trades, each strategy will have two losses before there's a trade on each strategy in the portfolio. The reset each trade is set to 1. That's important as we're not using the money management leveraging methods here. That's set to 0. When that's 0, you need to have this on 1 so it resets. So in other words, it will have two losses, then trade, then wait for two losses in sim trade before it trades again. That's on a strategy level. And each strategy can have its own independent criteria for number of losses or whatever other money management input you want. We just said each strategy for now, it must take two losses. So that being said, this is the result we have on this right here. That's the result. This is every trade in the three different strategies after it took two losses. Every single trade. And you can see it gives you the name of the trade. Okay. So that's the first for this presentation. Now what we did, we're going to set the portfolio for number of losses. So we're going to go in and we're going to set portfolio money management to 1. That turns it on. 0 is off, 1 is on. We use 0 and 1 so we can optimize the system. We can optimize using true and false. So 0 is always off, 1 is on, etc. That's why it's done that way for optimization in the configurations and algorithms. So that is 1 turned on. When portfolio money management is turned on, then all of these inputs can become active. What we did in this case, we used criteria 1 switch, turned it to true, and turned it to 1. Okay? And here is the result here. So what we've got here, we've got a table that shows, for demonstration purposes, so you can see what's taking place, we have every trade in the portfolio of three different strategies after two losses. Here is the result. To the right, this is the portfolio result. Once we turn the portfolio money management to 1, turning it on, and setting the criteria 1 to true, it will have to wait for one loss in the strategies of the portfolio before it actually takes a real trade in the portfolio. For best illustrative purposes, I'm going to show how this transpires. So you can see here, we go down the list, and we had a loss on the down, up, down pattern. The portfolio is going to recognize this as one loss between the three strategies. Now, granted, you could have 50 strategies, 100 strategies. There is no limit to the number of strategies or money management input criteria on each strategy, customized to each one. To make the presentation for simplistic reasons, I used two losses on the strategy level and one loss on the portfolio. So this particular pattern had a loss. So whatever next pattern the portfolio will find in the list of strategies that appears will be the trade. As you can see, the next trade after the loss is July 21st, 1995. To the right, this is the trade the portfolio took, the real-time trade. So if we wait, we had some profits. The portfolio will not take any other trades until there's a loss. We got another loss. So the real-time trade, the next trade the portfolio will take was January 1796, and you will see January 1796. After it took that trade, the portfolio will stop. It will look for another losing trade in all of the strategies that are in the portfolio that meet the conditions that were programmed before it takes another trade. So we had a number of trades here. Finally, we had a loss on September 20th, 96. Portfolio will then take December 16th, 96 here. We could go down. We have another loss here on an outside day. Different strategy. But notice what happens here. The loss happened on June 25th, 97. But the next trading pattern or strategy that appeared in the portfolio didn't happen until August 15, 97. And notice it was a different strategy. It doesn't have to be the same one. Whatever's next that comes up as a trade, the portfolio will take. It's just looking for one loss. Doesn't matter which strategy it is. And it doesn't matter which next strategy it is, whatever one appears first. So it took this one. That would be August 15, 97. And you'll see it here in the portfolio. And then finally, to further emphasize what we're doing, we had another one on October 24th. It was a loss. We took that strategy. The next one that appeared, down, up, down, on November 6th, it appeared. Since that was a loser, we took the next one, which was January 8th, 98. That appeared. Since that was a loser, it took another one, and on it go until we have a profit. Then it waits for a loss, and then you get the next trade again, which it took on September 21st. And on it goes. To show you the impact that can have, let's show just a quick equity graph of the two. Had you took every strategy in the portfolio, this is what the equity graph would look like. As you can see, interestingly, it just kind of went choppy sideways, and then at the very end started increasing. But if we waited for one loss for a strategy in the portfolio before taking a trade, yes, it was much more selective. But notice the equity curve. It improved. Instead of going sideways, we had a nice ascending equity curve. So a much smoother ascending equity curve. Now, granted, it had less trades, so it made less money. But you have a nice ascending equity curve. See, it made, 14,000, but on the portfolio that was more selective after one loss, 10,000. But again, if you have hundreds of strategies and you have a lot of trades, but you want to be more selective, this is a good way to do it. And it can also increase the profitability of your system through percent accuracy. Let me show you this. Notice what it did here. The percent accuracy of taking every trade on the strategy was 62.9%. But yet, if you waited for one loss on that strategy in the portfolio, it traded 68.12%. So the equity curve was ascending, less choppy, more reliable, and it increased the accuracy. And this was just a random strategies that I put in random money management. You can see there is value there, and there's just thousands of configurations that can be used. This is just one example.